If you're enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my Patreon linked below and receive stickers designed by me. Every patron from the lowest tier gets a set of stickers once every 3 months, and you get 6 with each package. Good day, artificers, and welcome to a Sprue review of something that I just got, and that is the Gorkanaut. And I got this set specifically for a very special project. As some of you may know, I love to dabble with electronics, and I also like multi-legged models. So I am going to try something quite special with this Gorkanaut, but that's not the subject of today's video. Today I'll be reviewing the sprues from a converters and kit bashers. I am talking about what the possibilities are with this model. So let's have a look at the packaging first. You've got the yellow Bad Moons colored Gorkanaut on the front, and you've got an Evil Sun's Morkanaut on the back. And it does appear to have quite a variety of modular weapons. They do seem to share an identical torso, and then the options to distinguish it between the Morkanaut and the Gorkanaut are the weapons, some interchangeable heads, and a couple of gubbins and accessories that come with the sets. So let's open them up. So no plastic wrap on this one. This one wasn't in plastic wrap in the shop because I think it's a pretty old box. Let's see what we have here. That's everything in the box. So a set of instructions. I might need instructions for this one, so I'm gonna hold on to this instead of throwing them out like I usually do. Right, what do we have? It appears we have 1, 2, 3 sprues and a set of Orky transfers, which I really love. I really like Orc transfers. I think they are the most fun to play around with because you've got a lot of free reign with how you embellish your Orc vehicles. You've got a large oval base, so this is not a small model, as you may already have guessed. So let's look at what we have here. Right in the middle, let's start with this one. It appears that we have sort of the main torso of the Gorkanaut, and it does come in, I think, 2 main components. If we look at the images, you do have like sort of a belly component and then the head and shoulders, and that seems about right. You've got this upper hull and a lower hull, which makes up sort of his body and his belly with the doors that open up. That appears to be what we have here, this being the lower hull and that being part of the upper hull. So the lower hull has hinges for your legs and the upper hull has hinges for your arms. So that's what we have here, and already I see a lot of very interesting parts. You have a lot of these little engine-y things, fuel tanks, and a lot more exhaust pipes, which is going to make things quite fun to put together. Now, I see what looks like the torso of an orc here as well. So it does appear that we have some pilot or gunner. Looks like a very nice orc with a peaked cap and one with a hard head as well. More exhaust pipes, horns, which I reckon go on the head. Oh wow, So those are where the exhaust pipes go. So you can sort of, oh, you have to follow those instructions. There is a certain order in which they appear, but I suppose no one's going to notice if you don't put them in order. I suppose even if they didn't fit that well, you can fill those gaps with putty and, sort of make this your own. So that's what they look like on the back. They sort of form this little crest of exhaust pipes, and it's a single crest. So for anyone wondering whether you have sort of two rows of exhaust pipes, it does appear that you only have one vertical row of exhaust pipes. It does appear like that. And they attach onto the upper torso. The lower torso, on the other hand, has legs which will probably appear in another sprue as we go through them. That's what they look like. So they have little claws on them, which aren't optional. I don't think they're optional. That's what they end up looking like. And that kind of does it for the main, I'd say main torso sprue. Yeah. So the second sprue looks like it's composed of mainly parts of the arms. So what I see is your cylindrical forearms, and apparently one set of this is for a claw, something like that, and another set would be for the weapon. So it's either this mega slugger shooter thing or some sort of flamer. And could that be the flamer? That something like that. There we go. So some kind of flamer weapon. That is quite a nice thing. It's got some sort of like plasma arc thing, and oh, that is very nice. You got a multi-barrel sort of a mega shooter. You've got some jagged teeth things. You've got heavy shooters. So I suppose this would appear like a bank of weapons, sort of bolted onto the forearm like you see there. So that's pretty nice as well. But now looking at the options that I have, it does appear that I am quite limited in terms of choice. I can't have both these weapons, both of the range weapons at the same time, because they obviously share this section. That would be this component here, the one with the holes. Now, it doesn't appear. I'm just going to have a quick glance at the other component. Yes, so it doesn't appear that I can assemble both options for the weapon and have him with the left-hand shooter, right-hand flamer. I will have to choose just one, or at the very least magnetize the inside of this thing so that I can, insert the barrels of the weapon that I choose. Suffice to say, I won't be able to dual wield range weapons, and I think the same thing goes for the claw, the claw or fist of Mork or Gork. I won't be able to have claws on both hands, which was something that I really wish I could have done, because if you see, he has a left hand claw and a right hand claw in the box art. And I was hoping that I could, well, I will be leaking a little bit of my idea, but I was hoping that I could at least have two claws and then two guns coming out the top as well. It does appear that I will have to sort of improvise. The good news is that with orcs, improvisation is always part of the game. I will be short of claws though, which is a huge shame. Maybe, just maybe, I can make a copy of these claws. They do seem to have quite a generic and normal looking mold, and if I do make a copy, I will definitely share the method of duplicating these claws or these components so that you can do that as well. And here you see one of the main reasons why I like to do sprue reviews, because if you, like me, were planning to get some of these parts, and you, like me, were attracted by some of this box art and thinking of kit bashing some of these parts together, you will, like me, be disappointed to find out that there are only one melee arm and one ranged arm. So we will have to improvise and find a solution for that. In the meantime, we can have a look at some of the other components which are quite nice. You've got a seated orc gunner, which I have noticed from some of the art that he appears seated behind the ranged weapon, which actually looks quite nice. There, and he would appear seated behind, I believe, this weapon, so he's got a chair or a gunner seat somewhere. But what I do like to see is also a lot of these very interesting little gubbins that you see here, little spiked bits and meters and dials and gauges, an ammo belt, which is quite nice as well. A lot of nice pistons. There are 4 missiles, which again are mounted on the melee weapon. So you can either have those 4 heavy shooters or the 4 missiles mounted on the melee weapon, which I think are interchangeable with the shoulder mount as well. So if I wanted the missiles on the shoulder, there we are, they would appear on the shoulder. So it does strike me as a kit that does give you all these options, but doesn't give you much choice in combining the options. It just lets you swap the positions about a little bit, which, you are getting this for a tabletop legal kit. So unlike me, you wouldn't need to have that many options. But for myself as a hobbyist and a kit basher, I do want to create the flavor of the orcs without actually following what's in the codex, and then just play it as a counts as type of model. But enough of that. You do see some other very nice components here, which I think would be weapons that come out of the center torso. Look at me sounding like a Battletech player. So there's a sort of a flamer and some other kind of flamer. Scorcher, right? That's what they used to call it in 4th edition. I don't know whether they still call it that. And let's see, it does appear to be it. So that's what we have for this sprue. I am still pretty happy with the amount of detail that comes in this sprue. Let's move on to the third one. So here's the third and last sprue, and what we see here are, I believe, some orky heads, right? That would be the head portion. There's a face. There are 2 of them in total. So there are only 2 face options. There are 2 jaw options. So that gives us sort of 4 different permutations of what the face can look like. Here are some components for, I believe, this would be the neck component, the neck joint that attaches to the top of the torso. Here are some shoulder pads. These are pretty nice actually. I really like the round and spiked shoulder pads that orcs have. So we do have a couple of options of those. We do have some of these bits, and I believe these are decorative bits that actually attach to the front door. So those would be the decorative bits that either come out as tusks or horns, as sort of happened to notice on this earlier. You do have a set of decorative bits, and those were our horns, which we saw as well. And you can attach them as tusks or downward pointing. I suppose you can do upward pointing horns as well for those. So if you are an orc player, you do end up with a fair amount of bits that you can customize even your other orc vehicles with, which is actually quite a nice pro. I believe in orc kits you do have a lot of spare bits, and this one is no different. I believe these would be our feet, if I'm not wrong, and yes, I'm absolutely right. These are your feet components with the clawed toes as well, which again you could probably sort of make casts of and add them to some of your other components. I don't know what these are, but they are pretty nice components as well. These could be actually very suitable wheel wells or cowling for a orc vehicle. So nice chain belt, more limbs probably for the feet, and this is the neck collar. I recognize this from the box art. That's where your center torso gun comes out. Nice lens as well, and again, if you know me, I do like to add lights, so that's a nice opportunity to add something illuminated on my model, as is that. So I can add an LED if I chose to use that component as well. And I think that is it. That is about the entirety of this kit. All in all, I am quite happy with this kit. I was majorly disappointed that I could only choose one melee arm and one ranged arm, but you know, you take what you get, and you can sort of, luckily, because the orcs sort of improvise a fair bit, and I do intend to improvise a fair bit and sort of make as much as I can out of this kit and attach as many limbs as I can to the finished model as possible. Hopefully that would actually be quite an interesting experience for me. If you enjoyed this entire review, please let me know. And if you want to support this channel and help me keep some food on the table, please consider once again visiting my Patreon. I thank you for your patience, and I do thank you for your support. Please remember to like this video, and of course subscribe to me, because once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to do live videos on my mobile, and that's going to help me a lot, because I don't own a webcam and I do all my video recordings using my mobile phone. This is a mobile phone that I'm using to record with. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I can actually do live streams with my mobile phone, which is something that I want to do very badly. So please share this channel and this video, and please subscribe so that I can bring more content to you. This has been a very large part of my life, and I do enjoy making these videos a lot. And I thank you all for spending time with me. As always, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.